National Football League. Today, the Chicago Bears against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
At Tampa Stadium, the Bears come to town against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we're live from Tampa, Florida. And it could be called a monsoon afternoon, I guess. The temperature is 74 degrees, the wind south 20 to 30 miles an hour. Heavy rain and hail is in the forecast, a tornado watch until 5 o'clock this afternoon. And they are really serious about playing this game. I can't say good afternoon, can I? I'm Pat Summerall, this is John Madden. And I guess you can throw all your statistics and everything else out of the window when the weather appears like this. I've lived in Florida all my life. And these things, when they start, they last a while. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. I guess the big question is, will Walter Payton play?
Well, you know, we were talking to Mike Ditka last night, and he said he really didn't know. He hadn't practiced the last 3 days, and he said that he would wait until the pregame warm-up. So here we see Walter Payton in the pregame warm-up, and he looked okay. Here he is on a pass pattern. We watched him run a couple plays. So we think right now that Walter Payton is okay. We'll start.
The Bears, of course, feel that they do have a legitimate shot at making the playoffs. That Central Division is in such turmoil. As far as the Buccaneers are concerned, when your record is 1-10, what can you say, except it's been a very, very disappointing season. But in fairness to them, they have had an awful lot of injuries, especially to the offensive line.
Well, you know, they had the injuries to the offensive line. They've had some defensive injuries, and maybe they got their biggest one last week when James Wilder was injured. He was their leading rusher, their leading pass receiver. He was really their offense. Now, Tampa Bay can play defense with anyone, but they have to get something going offensively, and that's what John McKay says that they have to do today against the Bears, and they want to do it early.
It's going to be awfully hard to get anything going offensively today with the weather what it is. And as you saw a minute ago, the forecast is for that rain, and it is really bombing down. To continue throughout the afternoon, a tornado watch until 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's a miracle, really, that there are as many people in the stands as there are. Bob Thomas to kick off for the Bears. Michael Morton will field it at the 6 for the Buccaneers. Morton, fumble. Buccaneers get it back. Let's check the starting lineups. Jerry Goldstein will be the Bucs quarterback. Adger Armstrong, James Owens, the two runners. T-Bell, Theo Bell, and Kevin House, the wide receivers. Up front, a makeshift offensive line. Revis, Snell, Grimes, Farrell, Kelly Thomas, and the tight end is Jerry Bell. Jimmy Giles is out. Check the Bear defense after this first play. Bucs stay primarily in, well, they stay in an I formation most of the time. This time they shift. House in motion. That is Melvin Carver, who starts in place of James Owens. Otis Wilson on the tackle. Good gain on first down. The Bear defense. Hartenstein, Tyrone Key, Steve McMichael, and Dan Hampton is back at right defensive end. Three linebackers, Wilson, Singletary in the middle, Gary Campbell on the right side. The secondary, Richardson, Frazier, Todd Bell, and Dave Durison. Second and about 1 for the Bucs. House again in motion. Fumble on the exchange. Goldstein dives and gets back on it. So she has a new center. Let's see if we can pick out the cause.
Well, I think you have a new center and you have a new quarterback, and it looks like they just fumbled the exchange right there. It looks like Goldstein, hands were up under there, and he just didn't get the ball. It just bounced out when it hit his up hand.
Now it's third and very short yardage. Line of scrimmage, the Buccaneer 33. Adger Armstrong now and James Owens. It's Owens. And Owens has the first down. He's had a bad knee. Of course, this is going to be a very difficult field to cut on anyway, but he didn't look that sure of it yesterday in practice.
No, he didn't. He's had a bad left knee, and he's been out. He's missed 4 games, and, of course, he has to play today because James Wilder is out. But, as you say, Pat, he didn't look real sure of his knee in practice yesterday.
Buccaneer first down at their own 36. No score. 13:03. 13 minutes left to play first quarter in a driving rain. Carver is the lone setback now. Hartenstein tries to be on the weak side, and you just saw him make that shift right then. Straight ahead is Carver for about 3, and Hartenstein came down from that right end position to trip him up.
You know, the Buccaneers have played their last 3 games on the road, and the reason I said that they want to get off to a good start early is John McKay was saying the way they're going, it's not an advantage to play at home anymore, and he's afraid that if they don't start off strongly today, the fans are all going to turn against them.
Well, by the time this is over, there won't be many fans left to turn against them. Weather like this. Adger Armstrong is the up back. James Owens is deep. No score. Owens. Outside the 40, flag is down as Owens spins for about 3 extra yards before Mike Singletary makes sure he stays down.
This looks like it's going to be one of those rushing type games. It's not only the rain that we have down there, but it's also the wind. And I think they're going to have some problems passing and kicking the ball today.
And holding on to the ball. No matter what they do, it's going to be almost impossible to keep it dry and keep us dry.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, there'll be mud, dirt, stuff hanging on them.
That's good.
Those white jerseys will be dark.
On third down, they need 2. Very close. Melvin Carver, with his head and shoulders down, plunged close to that first down.
Melvin Carver came to the Buccaneers last year as a free agent out of University of Nevada at Las Vegas. Didn't anyone think he had a chance to make it. He made the team and even did some starting, and this year he's had a lot of problems. He's fumbled a number of games, missed assignments, dropped passes, and it's been a long year for Melvin Carver.
I remember John McKay telling us last year when we asked him about Melvin Carver, first down. He said, with all of our scouting and all of our computers, how could a guy like that be left out and nobody pick him up?
Well, that happens so often, though, in the when you have that scouting, you see so many free agents that slip through. You think of Everson Walls, he wasn't even drafted, starts for the Dallas Cowboys and makes All-Pro.
Rain continues in waves. Melvin Carver breaks it into Bear territory inside the 40 and another Buck first down.
Melvin Carver was just saying, all I need is another chance. He said, I know that I haven't been doing well, but I would love to get another chance. And here we see him as the only back in the backfield. It's a little delay play there. The Bears pursued to the outside, and Carver hit it right back up the middle. We may not see a forward pass in this half.
We may not, you're right. If anything, it's raining harder. Carver is still the lone setback. Goldstein, the quarterback, again to Carver. He bangs down to the Bear 35. Mike Hartenstein tripped him up inside the 35 to about the 34. Somewhere in there is John McKay. He's the one in the orange, the head coach. He needs some windshield wipers for those glasses. He hasn't lost his sense of humor.
No, he sure hasn't.
2nd and 6. Theo Bell and Kevin House both split wide to the left. Won't be a busy day for them. Carver hit behind the line of scrimmage, did not get back to the 35. Steve McMichael, who's had a good year for the Bears, makes the stop.
You know, it's an interesting thing what the Buccaneers are doing is they're just running in the middle all the time, but they're changing their formation. They've had 2 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, motion, doing all those formations. The Bears have to adjust to it, but they end up running the same play all the time.
In one respect, we're lucky because this turf on this field is among the very best anywhere in the NFL. It's good, solid grass. Here's Goldstein back to throw. Incomplete, almost picked off. Jerry Bell was the intended receiver, and Otis Wilson is a Bear defender who almost got it.
Otis Wilson is one of those guys who can really cover a tight end man-to-man. He's a linebacker who can line up on the tight end, stay with him, and cover him man-to-man, as he just did there. Gardner had the interception.
Frank Garcia is the Buccaneer punter. This is going to be a tough ball to handle. Garcia drying his hands. Gets his body in front of it, gets the kick away. Not bad. Pretty good effort by Garcia. Ball well out of bounds, however. And now the Bears will get a chance. I wonder if this weather and the fact that the field will be so slippery will have an effect on whether or not we see much of Walter Payton.
Sometimes it's an advantage. It's easier on a knee.
8:53 left to play in the first quarter. 0-0. Bears and Bucks. Pat Summerall and John Madden at Niagara Falls. 0-0 at the Tampa Stadium. And is it ever raining?
That kid's going to earn his money today.
Oh, man. Is he going upstream?
He's going upstream. He's going to ride an inner tube down it.
First down for the Bears at their own 17. Walter Payton and Matsui, the two runners. That's Suey. Hugh Green on the tackle. Let's check the Bear offense. Jim McMahon, Walter Payton, Matsui, Willie Galt, and Dennis McKinnon. The offensive line, Covert, Jackson, Hilkenberg, Becker, Andy Frederick starting at right tackle, and Emery Moorhead, the tight end. From out of the mud puddle, Jim McMahon brings his club. 2nd and 3. Suey got 7. Here's Payton. And he slips down shy of the 30. Shy of the 25, make it, and shy of the first down. Jeff Davis, the inside linebacker, made the stop. Pittsburgh 7, Minnesota 0. Steelers continue to roll. Cincinnati 7, Houston 0. Both those in the first quarter, of course. First quarter here, and what we think is going to be a rather rapid game. 7:49 left to play in the first quarter.
Did you see that last play where Payton tried to make a cut and he just slipped out? I think that's where it is advantageous on a bad knee. You know, your foot won't get caught, and it will slide out. You won't make as many yards, maybe, but you don't get hurt in this kind of weather.
Bears go with 2 tight ends. Here's Payton again. Payton has the first down. Knocked backwards by Mark Cotney, but after he picked up enough yards for the first down. 5 career 100-yard plus games against Tampa Bay, and he's the only back ever to do that more than one time against the Buck defense.
And no one has done it against the Buck defense this year.
They pride themselves and are very proud of their defense against the rush.
That's what Mike Ditka said last night. He said, you know, they're proud of their run defense. They can't. You're not supposed to be able to run against them. He said, we're going to show them that we can.
So we'll see. First down, Bears. And the Bears confused, and they take a timeout. So no score in the rain in Tampa with 6:45 left to play in the first period. 0-0. The rain has decreased just a little bit. It's still coming down pretty hard, but it's a very, very nasty day.
Thank goodness for this roof up here, or we'd be right out there in the mud like those guys.
I might say so long.
No. I'd like the mud, the dirt grapple.
1st and 10, the Bears at their own 27. Walter Payton and Matsui, the two runners. Moorhead in motion. Hand off to Suey, straight ahead. To the 30. For an NFL update, let's take you back to New York and an NFL update in Brent Musburger.
Pat, it is dry on the carpet in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers go the length of the field against the Vikings. Stout goes to his tight end Cunningham here, and they lead the Vikes now by 7 points. Let's go back to Pat and John. Try to stay dry, men.
We'll do our best. It looks like it might be impossible, however. 6:10 left to play first quarter. Water starting to stand on the field now. Walter Payton, the lone setback, and he handled it. Payton gets to the outside and scoots outside the 40 for a first down. Scott Brantley nudged him out of bounds. 12 yards for Payton.
That's a good combination here. They put Suey up the middle, and then that tightens the defense, and then they go to Payton to the outside. Let's watch it again here. We see watch the tackle pull there, Andy Frederick. You see he gets out, the safety comes up in support. He kicks him out, and that gets Payton around the end.
Payton looks like he's feeling pretty good. Handoff is to Suey. And Steve gets up close to midfield to about the 48. Scott Brantley again, the Buccaneer tackler. 5:49 left to play first quarter.
That's a good combination in a running game. You know, you run Matt Suey inside from tackle to tackle, keep that middle tight, and then you put Payton outside. If they widen out for Payton, Suey hits the inside. If they tighten up for Suey, you know Payton's going to get to the outside.
Willie Gault split wide to the right. Handoff is again to Payton. Carrying that ball in one hand and scooting inside Buccaneer territory. Jeff Davis came out to make the stop. Finally, let's have a chance to look at the Buccaneer defense. Two new defensive ends, Booker Reese and Hassan Abakar. Dave Logan in the middle. That's still not the way to pronounce that name, by the way. Abubakar. Ed Judy, Jeff Davis, Scott Brantley, and Hugh Green, the linebackers. Jeremiah Castile, the Alabama rookie, John Holt, Mark Cotney, and Beasley Reese, the secondary. First and 10 at the 45. John McKay can't pronounce that name either. He calls him Ruby. Here's Payton. Dave Logan, Booker Reese on the stop for the Bucs.
This thing is going to be like a run offense, I think. I think the weather, you know, is making everything run. You can't make a lot of those cuts and so on. Although I always felt as a coach, if you're playing in a bad weather day, that you want to go to the pass early, because by the time you get to the third and fourth quarter, then sometimes it's a lot tougher.
Second and 6 for the Bears. Moore in motion. Payton, the ball carrier. Got a couple. Scott Brantley, first Buck to make the contact.
I'll bet you Payton likes it better when he runs to the outside. They had a play there where Emery Moorhead, the tight end, came in motion, double-teamed the nose tackle, and then Payton had to follow in there inside. But old Walter says, you know, that's not as much fun going in there with nose tackles and linebackers and stuff. More fun sweeping.
Everybody doubted whether or not he'd be able to play today. And he really bothered him on Friday. He kept saying all the time, I'll be in there when the time comes. Third down and 4 from the 39. 10th play coming up in this drive for the Bears. Out of the shotgun is McMahon with his first pass of the day. Across the middle, the ball pops loose. Incomplete. It's ruled incomplete. Bears got it back anyway. Keith Marjoram fell on it. Hugh Green made the hit, and it was a vicious hit. A couple of other scores. Green Bay 7, Detroit nothing. Los Angeles Raiders 7, Buffalo nothing. All of those in the first quarter. The Bears, Bob Parsons will have to punt. He's been known to throw it, but I doubt he'd do it today. Been known to run with it. Johnny Ray Smith back deep for the Bucs in the middle. Parsons, good kick. But deep into the end zone, so they'll bring it back to the 20. Parsons aimed it for the out of bounds, but didn't get it there. 19-yard net on that one as it went into the end zone. They'll bring it back to the 20. It's still 0-0. Owens and Armstrong behind him. Their shift. Goldstein will put it up and goes deep for House. It's picked off. Mike Richardson Came up with a Bear interception as Goldstein tried for a bundle.
I think that's the thing that we were talking about. You know, if you're going to go early. Mike Richardson was right there. He was one-on-one with Kevin House, probably the fastest guy in the Buccaneer team. He's darn near step for step. Makes a heck of a catch right over his head.
A great interception. Don't think I've ever seen it rain any harder than it is right now. I mean, it is wailing down.
When you were down here in Florida and it rained like this as a kid, did you used to go out and play in the rain, or would you sit inside?
I stayed inside.
I think it would be fun to play out there. Now, that would be fun.
Blitz is on McMahon trying to set up a screen. He gets it set up to Walter Payton down the sideline. Payton steps out of bounds at about the Buccaneer 43. Enough for a Bear first down. 12-yard gain. McMahon got away from the blitz. Got it to Payton.
I'll tell you, this is a great play here by McMahon because, watch, he has to hold the ball, invite that defense, invite him, get away, make him think pass. Now get the ball out there to Payton. Now your line is out there in front of him. Now you have something going right there.
That was Ed Judy, the corner linebacker for the Bucs, who had the blitz and who McMahon got away from. First down Bears. Excuse me, John.
Kurt Becker, the right guard, made a pretty good play out there. It was a little leg whip, but he was out there in front.
Fumble. McMahon gets it back. Boy, it's like playing in a mud puddle.
I'll tell you, we'll probably see more and more of that today. That was the third fumble exchange between the quarterback and the center, 2 by Tampa Bay. That's tough for the center, man. You have that nose tackle right there, head to head, paint to paint, and you know you have to get him blocked. Plus, it's raining like heck. You have to get the ball up to the quarterback. That's a tough double dipper.
Loss of a yard. Make it 2nd and 11 from the 44. Bears in Buccaneer territory. Suey goes in motion. Payton hit behind the line of scrimmage, spins back for about a yard. Dave Logan made the play.
Did you see the play that Logan made? Watch this. He's lined up over the center. Watch. He's going to take the center, Jay Hilgenberg. He's going to knock him right back into the backfield. Look at that. He just puts him right on his back, runs over him like a truck. Boom, he's in the backfield and gets Payton before he can even get started. That's good nose tackle penetration.
I thought he was offsides. He was so quick.
I'll tell you, it looked like Hilgenberg thought he was offsides, too. He didn't even get his hand back from the snap before David Logan was on him.
So it's 3rd down for the Bears. They need about 12. McMahon out of the shotgun. McMahon looking for some place to go. Now he's got to go. He slides and is whacked by Hugh Green.
Oh, Hugh Green caught Jim McMahon right in the middle of his slide deal there, didn't he? He wanted to pass. Now watch him. Here he's in the shotgun. He gets a little push here from his right. See by Reese there. Now he wants to stop. He still wants to throw. He's not beyond the line of scrimmage. He says, oh, I can't do that. I better get what I can. Hello, Hugh Green.
He'll
Hello,
hit you.
punt.
Hugh Green will hit you. He likes to play this game.
He's one of those guys that's all over the field.
Reminds you a lot of Lawrence Taylor of the Giants. Low snap. Parsons gets it away off the side of his foot. And it slides out of bounds outside the Buck 20. Tampa Bay will take over as Parsons had a tough day in the wind last week at Soldier Field. This week it's in the rain and wind at Tampa Stadium. Tough day to kick. 36 seconds left first quarter. 0-0. Chicago and Tampa.
You know, here's one disadvantage of the 3-man line. When you only have the 3 rushers, you're going to have 2 free men, these 2 guards. Now watch what Noah Jackson right here. Watch what he does as he's free here to Booker Reese as he thinks he's making a tackle right there. Now see what happens. You have 3-on-3. The right guard can help the center. Now watch Jackson. He's free. He's looking. He said, there's a guy right there. Boom! I'll just put him right down. Then McMahon buys a little time. That's why every lineman likes to have 4 men rushing so you don't get 2 free guards.
That'll stir up a little dirt and stuff. James Owen swinging wide to the right side. Cuts upfield to about the 27. Otis Wilson knocked him out of bounds. No score here. 30 seconds left to play first quarter. Minnesota and Pittsburgh now tied at 7. Steelers have been on a roll. San Diego losing to St. Louis 7-0 first quarter. Two unpredictable teams there. Houston on the scoreboard against Cincinnati at 7-3 first quarter. Second and 5 from the Buccaneer 27. There's now some lightning pops close by. Owens not back to the line of scrimmage, then maybe picks up a yard. Tyrone Keys is the bear to hit him. Jerry Goldstein starting in place of Jack Thompson, who has a sore elbow.
You know, one of the things John McKay said yesterday is Goldstein has to do a lot on the field because the Bears on defense give so many different defenses in front that he's going to have to audibilize. That time they were shifted over to this side. He ran back to the weak side, but it didn't work.
0-0 at the end of one in the driving rainstorm at Tampa.
Honda, makers of the Accord LX four-door sedan. Light beer from Miller, everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by the investment firm of Dean Witter, we're worth asking about.
Lightning and thunder and rain and all things unpleasant at Tampa Stadium. The Bucs have the ball against the Bears. Third down, about 4. Goldstein back to throw, or try to. Over the head of Obradovich, the intended receiver, and the Bucs will have to punt. Hard to throw anything on a day like today. It is ominous looking at best. That's the road just behind the stadium. Jerry Goldstein, his last start was against the Bears, the first time they met this year. Frank Garcia back to kick. Dennis McKinnon is number 85 back deep for the Bears. The rookie from Florida State. He's quite a story. Garcia gets it off, end over end. Smack. McKinnon picks it up. The Bucs are down in good shape in a hurry. Boy, he took a chance in weather like this trying to scoop that thing up. 36-yard punt, 3-yard return. They net 33. Chicago nothing, Tampa Bay nothing, second quarter. Hope you'll celebrate Thanksgiving Day with us. The NFL today will start it. And then the St. Louis Cardinals, who can beat anybody, but not every week, will go against the Dallas Cowboys at 3:30 Eastern Time from Texas Stadium. We're at Tampa Stadium today, and these are loyal fans, no matter what you hear. For them to be out here on a day like today, they got to love the Bucs and football.
You know, they have a rule in this stadium that you can't use an umbrella. No umbrellas allowed. They have signs all over.
I guess it's so you don't block out the view of those in front of you. Here's Suey. Off to the right side, cutting upfield, cut down hard by Ed Judy. And that Suey got about 2. Judy made a good play.
Suey's coming over there. All the defense, the water's flying, guys slipping down. That's pretty good.
Well, that's a great name for a day like today.
Let's watch it again. We'll see all the orange guys coming down here, the white side blocking. Now watch when they make the contact. The water's flying. Look, guys sliding in there. Looks like one of those water slides. People pay money to go down.
And you think that looks like fun, huh?
That's fun. No, that is fun.
Moorhead in motion, comes back inside the block for Walter Payton, who gets outside the 45. Ed Judy again made the hit that brought him down. Some other scores. The Giants 3, the Philadelphia Eagles nothing, second quarter. Green Bay 7, Detroit 3, first quarter. Cleveland 3, New England nothing, second quarter. This and the last one, Cincinnati now in front of Houston 14-3 in the first quarter. This NFC Central Division, of which these two teams, of course, are members as well. along with Minnesota, Detroit, and Green Bay. I don't think there is a favorite.
Sometimes you get the feeling that no one wins the Central Division. Someone just loses fewer games than the rest.
Somebody survives. Outside to Payton, who hangs on and will have a Bear first down at midfield. Jeremiah Castile cut him down.
That's what a zone defense will do for you. You know, when that corner is up there and he's free, he's able to really converge on the ball. Now, he's not covering Payton man-to-man. You see him come in from the outside, Jeremiah Castile. He was a cornerback. He was up there playing zone. He sees that ball coming in, and he goes into it. Let's watch the pass protection here. So we see the tackle doing a good job, but I'll tell you, that linebacker, Ed Judy, just took the other guy and just put him right in his back.
1st and 10 for the Bears at midfield. McMahon fakes to Payton, looks deep. Willie Gault. Incomplete. Mark Cotney was the defender. McMahon, understandably unhappy about the result of that.
I'll tell you, I'm not making excuses for Willie Gault or anyone else, but when you're running as fast as you can, your eyes tend to bounce. And then when you get water in there, it really is tough to see. You know, and that ball just slipped right through his hands. And not to make an excuse, but that's a tough thing.
McMahon had it right in the basket, and there's his show of unhappiness.
He's saying, that's as good as I can throw that ball.
That's as good as anybody can throw it. 12:27 left to play in the first half. Nothing. Points are going to be scarce. Pitch back to Payton. Nothing doing. Payton avoids one tackle. Is knocked out of bounds in front of the Buccaneer bench. He got about 4 when it looked like he might be caught for a loss. Jeff Davis came over to knock him out of bounds.
You know, it's something how an experienced running back like Walter Payton, the knee that bothers him is his left knee. And the minute that he gets hit and he gets towards that sideline, he just pulls the left foot out of the ground, and then when he gets hit, none of that tackle is taken on that left knee joint.
He's carried that ball a few times and knows when contact is about to occur.
That's right. They not only know where to go and how to go, but they know how to handle contact.
Out of the shotgun. Hilgenberg is the center. McMahon takes the high snap, handles it well. Outside to Suey. Bucks converge quickly, and Suey, with his head down, trying to get that first down, might have gotten it. I think he did. Castile and Holt came up to meet him.
You can see Walter Payton there that he is aware of that knee. You know, he just keeps checking it after every play. And again, but that's experience too. It's not only experience playing, but it's also experience, you know, being able to play. Watch him here. He's running a pattern here. You see they have a tough time cutting, and as he cuts, he goes right down to the ground. Now watch him. He'll get up and he'll check that left knee right there.
Straightens those pads to make sure they're in the right place. First down. It's Suey to the Buck 33, maybe. Look at that field.
That's a type of game. You know, this is a type of game for fullbacks like Matt Suey. Give the ball to Suey. And for nose tackles like David Logan. You know, it's kind of that battle in there in the pits, the mud, the dirt, the water, stuff flying around.
Of course, the Bucks missed their great defensive end, Leroy Selman. In fact, both of their regular defensive ends, as we mentioned earlier, are out. John Cannon has a bad ankle. 2nd and 3 at the 33. McMahon back to throw. McMahon hit just as he lets it go. Intended for Emery Moorhead, right through his hands. Ed Judy put the rush on McMahon.
You know, the toughest thing to do playing in rainy weather is to keep the ball dry. That's the biggest thing. And the officials will change the football on every play. But after they put it down, it's going to get wet from the time it's uncovered until it gets to the quarterback's hand. That's a tough thing.
As hard as it's raining today, it's impossible. Now the official puts the ball down, and you can see there's no way to do it.
There's no way to keep it dry.
3rd down and 3. Out of the shotgun is McMahon. Outside quickly to Dennis McKinnon. And he hangs on, and it should be enough for a Bear first down. That's a good catch on a day like today.
Dennis McKinnon really is a story. He not only made this Bear team, but as a starter, he was a free agent from Florida State. At Florida State, he didn't even start in his senior year. But Mike Ditka said from the moment he came to training camp and the way he worked and his dedication and all those types of things, he said, I knew this kid could be a player.
Said from the first day he was the hardest worker we had, and he still is. And you can tell he really likes him. This is the 10th play coming up of this Bear drive, which started back on their own 39. Now there's the Tampa Bay 30. Suey inside the 20 and slides to the 15. Jeff Davis tripped him up, 13 yards gained, and another Bear first down.
Now he looks like he loves it, doesn't he, Suey? Watch him. You always, if it's real wet and it's kind of messy there, throw it to Suey. Second back out there, right up the middle. He only knows one way to go. You don't run to the sidelines. You don't dance. You just run, boom, hit, slide, get back up and go to the huddle.
They move it back to the 17 as Suey did slide for a first down.
He would have been a great Arkansas player.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Perfect. McMahon on a bootleg. Running for the out-of-bounds marker is taken down. And taken down hard. And there's a flag. John Holt up against the wall over there is the man who made the tackle. Up around the neck, and that's why the flag.
That's right. They put a rule in the NFL that you can't go for the head. So I'm sure that'll be a 15-yard penalty against the Buccaneers.
Well, they haven't got room for a 15, so it'll be half the distance.
Watch him right there. You see that right arm? He put the right arm right up there in McMahon's head. That's a good rule. He could have tackled him without that. He really, John Holt didn't need that.
21 on the defense. First and 10.
First penalty of the game. Here it is again.
McMahon had him all fooled except John Holt. All Holt had to do was tackle him or knock him out of bounds.
No way that McMahon could do any sort of cutting back or sharp maneuver. First and goal from the 5. 9:50 left to play in the first half. Moorhead in motion. Suey to the 2. Jeff Davis around his knees.
This is where it gets tougher and tougher down here. You know, the closer you get to the goal line, of course, the defense doesn't have as much ground to cover, so it tightens everything up. And on a wet day like this, goal line is very, very difficult.
Bucks are down to just 4 defensive linemen with all their injuries, and they have them all 4 in there now.
There's a friend of yours, the umpire, Art Demas. I saw him at the hotel this morning.
Yeah.
He said to say hello to you. He's trying to keep the ball dry, but Art, you got a wet towel, man. And you put it down too soon. Look, Art, it's wet already. Put that towel back on.
Art played football at Vanderbilt. Bears go to Suey, and Suey goes into the end zone. First touchdown of the game. The only touchdown of the game. Matt Suey gets it.
This is the type of thing. It's a fullback's day. You watch this goal line down here. Everyone thing. Here comes Walter Payton. He's on a lead block. Suey, get your shoulders square. That's it. Take on that first thing. Joe, fight it across that goal line. See how he went in there with the shoulders square, following Payton?
I bet Marv Hubbard was great on a day like this.
Oh, he would love it. He would want to stay. Hubbard's the type of guy that would stay out after the game and slide in the mud.
6-0. Our end zone camera, by the way, is down because of all the weather problems, lightning and rain and what have you. So we're not able to show you any end zone shots. There's some more thunder. And we can't show you this extra point. You got to believe what I tell you.
It's good.
Bob Thomas. You think it's going to be good already?
He hasn't kicked it yet.
Brian Bashnagel, the holder. Gets it down. Thomas gets it up and through. So the Bears move out ahead 7-0 with 9:19 left to play in the first 1 yards in 13 plays. And Suey got the touchdown. Chicago ahead. Pat Summerall, John Madden.
Watch the blocking down here on the touchdown. Becker takes his man out. Frederick takes his man that way. Now Walter Payton right here, you know he's going to block. See, he's cheated up from Suey. He leads right through here and makes a block right here on Booker Reese. You see how he's cheated up? Now watch it here. Suey's the second back. Now watch Payton. He not only runs and catches, but watch the block right there. You see, and then that gave Suey the soft spot to get in. I like to see that. Those runners, you know, they get all the yards and catches. Sometimes, doggone it, they block pretty well, too.
Bob Thomas. Short kick. Michael Morton at the 10. Almost out of the pack and almost shook it loose. David Simmons wrapped him up. 21 yards on the return. Boy, he's a little tiny guy. Some other scores. The Giants now lead the Eagles 10-0 in the second quarter. St. Louis 10-0 over San Diego in the second quarter. We'll see the Cardinals Thanksgiving Day against Dallas 17-3. Cincinnati up. Miami leading Baltimore 7-0. Jerry Goldstein is quarterback for the Bucs. Drops the throw. Screen pass coming. Incomplete, intended for Owens, and the Bears had it diagnosed perfectly. Otis Wilson was there.
Otis Wilson read that thing the whole way. You see, again, they're playing man-to-man. See Wilson right there on the left-hand side of the screen. He didn't drop deep. What you try and do is get those linebackers dropping deep in a zone. But if they're playing man-to-man, like Otis Wilson there, he'll just sit right out there and wait for that screen. It's a tough thing to throw a screen against man-to-man coverage.
Goldstein is 0 for 4. One interception. 2nd and 10 from the 30. House in motion. Goldstein fumble. That's the 4th time that the exchange has been fumbled on both teams. The exchange from the center to the quarterback.
Well, as you mentioned, Steve Wilson, the regular center, is out today. Randy Grimes, who's a rookie, and he started last week at left guard, is starting with a center. So you have a new quarterback and a new center starting on a rainy day, and I think we'll see more and more of that. Of course, if they keep that up, Goldstein could be 0 for Sunday.
It could be. It'll be 3rd down then. Handoff to Carver, I think, and McMichael made the stop. And the rain. That's an apparatus, whatever that was, I haven't seen before. It's like a rain chair.
It's like something you ought to ride on the field.
Or in the bay. So Garcia comes on. McKinnon back deep for the Bears. Frank Garcia. Dennis McKinnon is number 85. That, of course, is Garcia. 8 minutes left to play first half. 7-0 Bears. Good kick. McKinnon retreats to his 29. Looking for some place to go. Is hit down at the 40. The Buccaneers are down in good shape. Richard Wood came down to make the stop. 40-yard punt, 11-yard return, 29 yards the net. 7-0 the Chicago Bears lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 7:50 left first half. Next Sunday on CBS Sports begins with the NFL today. San Francisco at Chicago, 12:30 Eastern Time, and Green Bay against Atlanta, 3:30 Eastern Time. Of course, those of you in Chicago will only see one game. Good day to stay warm any way you can.
You know, and San Francisco is one of those teams that is much tougher on the road than they are at home. Going into last week, they had lost 9 out of 10 games at Candlestick Park.
That's strange how that happens. The Eagles are the same way. Here's Suey. Left side, breaks a couple of tackles, and Suey's got some room to run. Matt Suey to the Buccaneer 20. Jeremiah Castillo finally got him out of bounds. 39 yards for Suey.
I'll tell you, in this game, it's a fullback's day. But watch the center, Jay Hilgenberg here. He does a pretty good job there on Logan. You see there's a lot of blocks in there. He gets right through, runs right through Hugh Green's tackle. That's what a fullback has to do. Bounces to the outside. Now he'll square it up. That's it. Now he's trying to cut back into the inside and just keep going up. Watch the block here. The first thing you have to do against a three-man line is get that nose tackle out of there. You see, he started, but you see who he had help from? He had help from Walter Payton.
And here goes Payton. Cutting up field inside the 20. Scott Brantley out to make the stop. Payton got about 4.
I've always been impressed with Walter Payton, but, you know, when a guy plays like today, he has really 2 bad knees. And doggone it, when he goes in and blocks a nose tackle like that, that means that the guy is really a complete player. You know, we throw that around. This guy's this and he's that, but, you know, when you see that type of thing, doggone it, that's impressive.
The Bears have 99 yards this quarter. Tampa Bay has 1. Payton needs 12 yards to go over 1,000. Here's Walter Payton. He's closer. He's down to the 10, stopped by Beasley Reese. One of the officials is down.
I think that was the umpire, Art Demas. You know, the umpire, he has to line up right there where the linebackers do, and he has to sit in there like a linebacker, and you really see those guys get knocked down. Now watch it. He's right in the middle here on the right of the screen. He's looking for holding and stuff, and he gets pushed from behind, goes right over Payton.
He fell pretty well, didn't he?
I know it, though. The hat went off. You see the hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's okay, though.
The guy with the towel.
I'll tell you, umpires, you know, you talk about tough guys, nose tackles, middle linebackers and stuff. The umpire, the guy right there holding the thing, plays there behind that. He has to be a tough guy. One of the toughest ever was Pat Harder.
Oh, yeah. He get in the shouting matches with the players. He was a tough player, too, though.
He'd get in physical contest. If they hit him, he'd look for the guy to see if he could get a hit on that guy.
Get that number. 6:03, 6 minutes now make it left to play in the first half. The Bears within field goal range, certainly. And they got their first down just outside the 10. Moorhead in motion. Handoff Suey. He gets to about the 8, where he's down in the mud. Other scores, Green Bay 10-3 over Detroit second quarter. The Bears, as we mentioned before, think they still have a chance to win this Central Division. St. Louis 17, San Diego nothing. Cincinnati 24, Houston 3. Trouble times in Houston. Cleveland 10, New England nothing second quarter. Browns in the playoff picture also. 2nd and 7. And the day is looking just slightly better. Still raining. Here's Payton. Cutting back and cutting into the end zone for the Bear touchdown. That should put him over 1,000 yards on the year. 12 carries, 55 yards for Walter Payton.
See, the first guys there to congratulate him, the offensive linemen. They know if they do their job, if they get their blocks, Walter Payton will get the ball in the end zone. Watch it, it's going to be off here to the left. Noah Jackson pulls. He gets a linebacker right there. Payton starts to the outside, cuts. What a move. You see that? He just went, extended himself, caught on his right leg, and then sprung into the end zone. Here's Jackson there. He's going to pull out on Hugh Green. He gets him just back enough so that Payton can get by, and then Payton makes a move. Off his right leg, he sprung into the end zone.
Brian Bashnagel will hold for Bob Thomas to try to make it 14-0 in favor of the Bears.
Someone's saying get set. We're snapping it right away.
So the ball doesn't get too wet. Now Art Demas trying to dry it off.
The only problem is he's drying it off with it. No, he has a dry towel now. They want to snap it right away. Go.
Thomas gets it up and through. And it's 14-0. The Bears over the Bucks with just over 5 minutes left to play in the first half. On that last play, Logan, the Bucks nose guard, was hurt, and they don't have many backups. The story of the great Walter Payton, year by year, 7 times over 1,000 yards. He just did it in 1983. He needs 31 more to tie O.J. Simpson on the all-time list. Bob Thomas, that football on his left shoulder in the H, of course, is in tribute in memory of the late, great George Halas. Thomas. Morton. Knocked out of bounds at the Buccaneers 30 by David Simmons one more time. Say the 29. Coming up at the half, the NFL Today with Brent and Irv and scores and highlights and shooting for the moon. Warren Moon, who has indicated he wants to play in the NFL and leave the Canadian Football League, and they say he can play.
And you know, if he does, he'll be a real true free agent because he wasn't drafted by any NFL club. So he'll have the Canadian League, the USFL, and the NFL going after him, and that means big dollars.
He can test the market. Goldstein back to throw, looking deep and throwing to House. Incomplete. Michael Richardson was back there to deflect it. House cut to the outside. Todd Bell also back there.
Look at this double coverage. You see, because he has a deep guy, Todd Bell, 25 there, Richardson can play underneath. You see, Bell has him deep, Richardson has him underneath. So really, they double team him short and deep. And that short guy, in that case, was Richardson. He's the guy that can come up with the interception.
4:45 left to play. Pat Summerall and John Madden, the Bears leading 14-0 over the Bucks, who had yet to complete a pass. James Owens had some room and couldn't quite make the cut. Steve McMichael tripped him up.
That's an interesting defense that the Bears use. They used to do that with 5 defensive linemen, and now with Al Harris out, they do it with the extra linebacker. They overshift here to the right. Let's see if we can see it here. See, all the linemen are overshifted to the right. 3 linebackers on the left. Now Owen starts to the right where the linebackers are and cuts back to the left where the linemen were.
So that makes it 3rd and 7 from the Buck 33. They trail 14-0. First completion. Terry Schmidt made the hit. Shy of a first down. Let's see who made the reception. Gerald Carter caught the pass, but not enough for a first down, and the Bucks will have to punt, and the boos have started. McKinnon back deep for the Bears. Garcia back deep for the Bucks. Block. Garcia's down, and there's going to be roughing the kicker call. Richard Wood. For the Bears.
Right here, see, once the ball leaves, then you can't touch the kicker. Brian Cabral comes in there, and he hits Garcia after the ball left his foot. The thing is, when you block a punt, you always go to a point 5 yards in front of the kicker. That's where you get it. You never go directly at the kicker, which is what Cabral did on that play.
Red Cashin is the referee, a little spattered. First down, Bucks. This quarter, the Bears 116 yards. That's good. The Bucks 10 yards. That's not good. Goldstein back to throw. Under pressure. Steps up in the pocket. Is sacked. Tyrone Keys came in to take him down.
That's what you have to get. You have to get that push in the middle by the 2 tackles, McMichael and Keys. Then if the quarterback is flushed out by the ends coming and has to step up, then you want your tackles right there in front of him. That was pretty good defense, that play by the Bears.
The Bears have gained a lot of yards. They can move it. They've had trouble with mistakes, fumbles and penalties and missed assignments and what have you. But they can move the football. Melvin Carver to the 41. Dave Durson is the man who came up and made the tackle. He's playing well. Melvin Carver trots back. St. Louis 24, San Diego nothing. Cincinnati 31, Houston 3. Miami 10, Baltimore nothing, second quarter. And Cleveland 17-0 over New England, second quarter. It'll be third down, Tampa Bay. At their own 42, 12 they need for a first down. Third and 11, call it. Bears faking blitz, Singletary. Now they back out. Goldstein gets it. Penalty marker down. Intended for tight end Jerry Bell. Flag is down as Dan Hampton put the heat on.
This will probably be one that the Bears will turn down because it'll bring up fourth down.
Pit clock.
Red Cashin's microphone obviously with a problem. Breaking up a little bit. That's the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. Bucks have it 4th and 12 at their own 42. They'll have to punt. The Bears lead 14-0. Now it's a very fine light rain. With the Bears leading 14-0, the Buccaneers have to punt. That's Frank Garcia. Dennis McKinnon is back deep for the Bears. Last time they had a roughing the kicker penalty. This time it looks like they'll stay away from him and try to set up a return. McKinnon at the 22. Heads straight upfield, spins away from one man, flags are down. Richard Wood was the man who made the hit. 36-yard punt, 23-yard net, but it's got to be one of those illegal blocks.
You know, that first thing that we saw fly out of there was a beanbag. And that wasn't a penalty. Of course, that just marks the spot where McKinnon caught the ball. Then after he started upfield, and we saw a couple more of the real things come out, those yellow flags. Of course, that was a penalty in this case for holding. But sometimes you see that beanbag fly at you, and you think that that's a penalty. You see, they have to know the spot he caught the ball so they know where to put the penalties after the kick, which we always have penalties after a kick.
Seems like it.
After the ball was number 32 of the receiver.
Mike Ditka wearing a tie. He says it helps him keep his composure on the sideline. He had some rather unusual violent moments. Well, maybe he's going to have another one. The preceding message was brought to you by the National Football League and, of course, by that man, Dan Hampton.
I think the Bears think it's nice to have him back. You know, that gives you some size on that defensive line. I think the name's Danster. Half man and half monster. Danster. See, they couldn't call him Hamster.
No, or Manster, because that's what they call Randy White.
So it's Danster.
It's a good name.
Yeah, he had played end, and then they moved him into tackle, and then he had a knee surgery, and now they have him back.
Said he feels more comfortable out there. 1st and 10. The ball at the Bear 12. McMahon gives to Suey. Suey gets outside the 15. Let's see if Logan is back in. Yes, he is. Booker Reese, however, made the stop. St. Louis overpowering the San Diego Chargers 31-0 now in the second quarter. Remember, San Diego was a team that defeated Dallas, and those Cardinals will go against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. So they certainly are capable. Clock running, 1:14 left to play in the first half with the Bears up 14-0. 2nd and 6. Suey got 4. is Payton. Payton at the 19. Scott Brantley made the hit that stopped him.
Look at big Noah Jackson there, number 65 for the Bears. He looks like a coach.
Maybe his shirt tail out and everything.
Yeah, the shirt tail out, a little deal going there around the waist. Mike Ditka was telling us last night, he said, if he's going to play for us next year, he has to weigh 265 pounds.
That looks like more than a little deal around the waist.
A little deal around the waist. That's why I said he looked like a coach.
Third down. Balls at the 19. Suey. Flag is thrown into the middle of the pile, and you heard one of the Bears yell, "No way! Not me!"
He yelled "no way" before the flag hit the ground. I think the guy who yelled it was the center, wasn't it, Jay Hilgenberg? He was right there by that umpire. He was yelling "no way" before the yellow flag even bounced once. That was the quickest reaction that I have ever seen to a penalty.
That must have mean he was guilty to react that quickly.
Well, if it's against 63, he was protecting himself. If it's against anyone else, he was defending his buddies.
That's a pretty close fraternity, those 5 interior offensive linemen.
You ever notice that? They always spend a lot of time together. You watch them, they're on the bench. They always sit together, their locker room. After practice, they go out in their pickup trucks and their caps together and have a little session of sitting around and talking. A lot of them chew tobacco.
Most of them are pretty quiet guys.
Yeah, spit. Don't say much. They're used to anything. You know, guys grab them. The defense grabs them, slaps them around. Never get their name mentioned unless they're penalized. Only ones that know them are their wives and their family.
They do most of the shopping.
Number 63 of the
grocery
offense.
shopping.
Third down.
63 was against Hilgenberg.
He was the guy that yelled, so he was protecting himself. Let's see if we can see it. Right there in the middle, he has Logan. I guess it's that left arm that he saw. Watch the umpire. He's back there. He's bailing out and throwing off his back foot.
About the time that the flag is right there, Hilgenberg is already saying, "No way,
no way,
not me."
He's saying that guy lines up so close to me, David Logan. He said, I have to do something to get him away from me. Logan was the guy who said he was born to be a nose tackle.
Right. Watch how close he gets.
He's right up there, paint to paint.
Well, now he must be going to rush the passer or something. Out of the shotgun. And they hand off to Payton. Up the middle, and Payton slashes outside the 15 to about the 17. Scott Brantley on the tackle again.
I'll tell you, they're doing a pretty good job in there on Logan. In that case, it was Jay Hilgenberg and the right guard, Kurt Becker. Of course, they didn't get a first down. But watch it here. Now, he's in that gap. Now, watch the guard comes down, you see, and he takes him there. That's Becker. And then Hilgenberg says, no. He said, I don't even need any help on that. I'll go get someone else. But he got him right there just before Payton walked by.
He came back for a second shot at him. That's the thing about playing that nose tackle spot. You get hit on every play from every conceivable angle.
Yeah, and from different guys. You get it from the center, a guard uncovered on either side of you. Now they have that new deal. They got those H-backs and U-backs that they bring in motion, and boom, they hit them. We saw Walter Payton come in and hit him today, so they get blocked from all over. I wonder what kind of guy he is when you're born to be a nose tackle.
Must mean you want to be close to somebody. Bob Parsons.
Probably as little babies, they don't walk early. They just get down there on all fours and spend a lot of time what they call creeping. They creep a lot.
Well, they have to if they're going to be good. Here's Parsons. Gets it off. Theo Bell. Still trying to get away. Couldn't shake. Dennis Gentry, who was down quickly. 37-yard punt. Bell with a 1-yard return. 5 seconds left to play in the first half. 14-0 in favor of Chicago. The rain now has just about stopped. It's still misting a little bit. The Bears on a 14-0 lead. Sloppy field.
How do they keep those uniforms so clean on a sloppy field? Those uniforms really look too good.
That's a tribute to the turf and how good it is.
Great, great turf.
Here's Goldstein going deep. Pass is caught by Kevin House at the end of the first half. Richardson was back there with him, but House came up with Goldstein's second completion of the day, a 42-yarder. The Bears 14, Tampa Bay nothing at the half.
Is sponsored by Pontiac. Cars that tell the world you're not just along for the ride. Pontiac, we build excitement. The Travelers for insurance and financial services. And by your independent professional traveler's agent or broker. And by General Motors. We're living up to the General Motors mark of excellence.
Irv, they have promised me in Tampa, the Chamber of Commerce, that it never rains like that on the afternoon of January 22nd.
What are we looking at now, right?
Wouldn't that be horrible to have a Super Bowl get hit with a downpour like that? What's it like to play in a mud bath?
Well, it's tough for the linemen. Offensive and defensive linemen can't get any traction, but if you get a player like Suey, who's a flat-footed runner in a mudder, you know, it's a fun day.
Gail Sayers wasn't too bad in the mud either for the Chicago Bears. I know a lot of you folks in Chicago want to know about the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. The team right now is holding its meeting. They are voting whether or not to go to the Liberty Bowl. It certainly is not unanimous. We revealed earlier this afternoon that quarterback Blair Keel, among others, does not think that a team with a 6-5 record should accept a bowl bid. Now to the scoreboard and get you up to date. Irv Cross's Philadelphia Eagles are being hammered by Jimmy the Greek's New York Giants. 13-0. Irv, take us to the highlights, kid. Go get it.
Eagle cheerleaders trying to find something to cheer about saw nothing but really tears the first half. Ron Jaworski, going back to pass, is sacked by Lawrence Taylor. Who else? One of the best in the league, perhaps. Jaworski this time going back, looking upfield, trying to get help. Mark Haynes picks this one off, his second interception of the season, and the Giants seem to have things under control. And, of course, head coach Bill Parcells has to be happy with that. Butch Woolfolk, a few plays later, takes his sweep around his right end, and watch what happens. He powers over for about 11 yards out, Giant touchdown. And later in the game, Joe Pisarcik was brought into the game for Ron Jaworski, who was lifted because he only had 1 out of 9 passes that first half, and sacked by Harry Carson.
Dick Vermeil never took Jaworski out, did he?
And he stayed with him no matter what. It's a new regime, though.
Okay, it certainly is. The Eagles are being shut out. Now, look what the St. Louis Cardinals are doing to the San Diego Chargers. In that game, Neil Lomax has thrown for 2 touchdowns, one of them 71 yards to Pat Tilley, and Lomax has run for 2 other touchdowns. And look what Cincinnati is doing to Houston. Kenny Anderson has thrown 3 touchdown passes, 2 to tight end Dan Ross, and 1 of 45 yards to wide receiver Chris Collinsworth. And, of course, Chicago leading the Bears at the half by 14 points. Now, Miami-Baltimore. And this score right here, you can see that the Green Bay Packers are beating Detroit 13-3. They are in the second quarter of that game, a key Central Division tussle because the Packers and the Vikings were tied coming into that, and they're only in the second quarter. Time is running down in that game right now. And here you can see the Lions had difficulty on a snap from center on a punt. Now watch what happens. They get over to the sideline, loose ball, scooped up by the Packers, and he says, this is a touchdown. I'm going on in. Well, Green Bay got the ball. They brought it back to the spot, and they marched on down for a touchdown. It's a thing of beauty. Dickey up high. J.J. John Jefferson, with that great concentration, pulled it down, and so the Packers lead the Lions 13-3. Cleveland and New England. The update on that is 20-0 now. They are at the half, and the Browns are shutting out the Patriots. The Raiders traveled into Buffalo, where they normally have trouble. The story here is not only do the Raiders lead, but they have knocked Joe Ferguson, the quarterback, out of the game with an injury. He went to a locker room early, so I'm not sure that he'll play at all for Buffalo in the second half of that game. 10-3 at the half, the Raiders with the lead. Minnesota and Pittsburgh are tied at 7. They are in the second quarter, and of course Pittsburgh took the opening kickoff, Irv, and moved right down for an easy touch.
Well, you know, defense is the game in Pittsburgh, but Cliff Stott was coming to his zone, rolling to his right, hitting Bunny Cunningham on a 3-yard touchdown pass. But the Vikings came right back, Brent.
He sure did. Dills, who was shaken up, came back and hit your old buddy Sam McCullum. 30 yards with the touchdown, and so they are still tied at 7. Time running down now in the second quarter of that game. And the Bears, of course, leading the Buccaneers by 14 at the half. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Monday, find out the secrets behind fantastic creatures from King Kong to Jabba the Hutt. It's Classic Creatures Return of the Jedi. Then,
we must eat before we eat.
Thanksgiving on Aftermash brings a surprise reunion. And Newhart volunteers Joanna to cook Thanksgiving dinner.
How many people are we talking about?
30 couples. Monday.
Wednesday, every woman's fantasy, every man's dream. Bo Derek, Richard Harris, and Miles O'Keefe in Tarzan, the Ape Man.
This is CBS.
Soon the U.S. Olympic team will be heading to Los Angeles for the Summer Games. They'll fly United, the official airline. This fall, every time you fly United, United donates free mileage to the program. Up to 5 million miles of free travel. The more times you fly, the more free miles they fly. It's United's 5 million mile challenge, and the winner is your Olympic team.
United, official airline of the 1984 Olympic Games.
Working at a sure and steady pace almost always produces results. The problem is, it doesn't get you much attention. So even though Hewlett-Packard technology has produced a number of firsts, some of you still don't know who we are. Maybe now you will. Introducing the touchscreen personal computer, the Hewlett-Packard 150. By merely touching the screen, you can find an address, move a paragraph, change a forecast, make a chart. No complicated commands to remember. No mouse, just your finger. In other words, you already know how to use the touchscreen personal computer, which means nothing stands between you and what you can become. Hewlett-Packard Personal Computers, setting you free.
Gene Siskel looked at the hits and misses Monday at 10.
As you know, last spring's NFL draft was a vintage year for quarterbacks. No less than 6 were drafted in the first round. This year's crop does not shape up to be quite as good. We've got 3 who could go on the first round. Steve Young of BYU, Boomer Esiason of Maryland, Jeff Hostetler of West Virginia. So a few NFL teams are licking their chops over a hot quarterback prospect who has plenty of pro experience in another country. After 5 years of playing to the music of old Canada, he made...
Oh, you didn't have to take them on like those running backs do.
You know, I saw Jim Brown not too long ago, and as you say, if anybody could do it, it would be Jim Brown. He looks still in very good shape, and he was some tough individual and a great runner when he played.
And he was talking about Franco Harris, but I think in this second half, we're going to have Walter Payton pass O.J. Simpson.
He is closing in. Second half coming up. The Bears are ready, and so are the Buccaneers to start the second half. At Tampa Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden. Bears leading 14-0. And this NFC Central Division clash. Bears with a record of 4-7, just 2 games out of first place. Statistically, in the first half, the edge belongs to the Bears, just like the score.
Look at that yards passing, though, and of course we know we had a rainstorm in the first half. Bears only had 38 yards, and the Buccaneers had 41 yards, and that one was a big one just before halftime.
That was only one of 2 passes they completed in the first half. There's John McKay.
I think in the first half we had a run scrimmage, and I think we're going to see more of the same in the second half because Chicago says, well, it worked pretty well in the first half. Let's do it again.
So
Tampa Bay saying we got to get something going.
Bill Capice will get the second half going as he kicks off, and Willie Gault is back deep for the Bears. Capice to Gault at the 5. And you know about his speed. And Willie Gault outside to the 35. Flag is down, however, back at about the 25. Michael Morton made a hit that brought him down. Mike Ditka upset with things.
Well, he was upset. He had taken Willie Gault off the kickoff return team. He said, I have to put him back on. We have to get something going here. And he does get something going, and what happens? He gets one of those illegal blocks from behind.
So the Bears will start deep in their own territory, leading 14-0. Touchdowns by the 2 running backs for Chicago, Matsui and Walter Payton.
Illegal block during the run back. 53 of the receivers down at 10.
Let's watch number 55 here. That's Danny Spradlin. Remember him, the old Dallas Cowboy. He's been a heck of a special teams guy. Now watch what it's like coming down and covering a kickoff. That's taking on the wedge. You see, they have a wedge buster. That's what they call him. The old one-man. They come down. He just dove right into that wedge.
That's also called high disregard for your body.
There used to be a guy for the Detroit Lions that used to go into the wedge feet first.
Gil Maines.
Gil Maines.
He was a wild man. But feet first, if you're going to go in, is probably better than head first.
Well, the head gets there later.
At the 19. Bear 1st and 10. Jim McMahon, the quarterback. The runners are the same. Moorhead goes in motion. This is Suey. Suey cuts inside for about 8. Jeff Davis took him down.
You know, it really is a good day for fullbacks. Let's watch the center and the nose tackle here. Hilgenberg's coming down, then Noah Jackson comes down. He gives him a little bump. Hilgenberg cuts him. That's a pretty good block by the center, and he cut him right into the tackle. He starts there over the nose and ends up on his back, and Suey's right there. Look what I found.
Suey has 11 carries, 82 yards. 2nd and 3 at the 26. Suey. Scott Brantley on the stop, but Suey is close to a first down. Hilgenberg seems to be quick enough to get his head on the correct side when he's trying to block Logan.
Well, he does. He gets good position on him, and he seems to get to him quickly, and that's tough when Logan's so close to you.
We're talking about something else he's doing. We'll show you in just a second. Watch him push the ball away from him so he has more time to get to Logan. He's got it out there as far as he can possibly get it.
Full extension.
Here's Payton, left side, at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he got a yard. Jeff Davis on the tackle.
Walter Payton didn't like something that happened down there in the bottom of that pile, but he said to Hugh Green, hey, it wasn't you, it was someone else in there. And they butted heads. That's like shaking hands.
Hugh Green and Payton were in serious conversation before the game ever started. Here it is.
Let's see if we can see what happens down here at the end. There, Payton's down. Oh, yeah, I can see why they had it talk. Look at that left knee right in the head. He said, I was down. I don't need that stuff.
Here's Payton again. Skips out of one tackle. Skips away from somebody else. Outside the 40. That's another Bear first down. Hugh Green came over to trip him up.
Usually when you see a classy player like a Walter Payton complain about something, he's right.
Watch these moves here. Watch his legs.
Watch it. He has his right guard leading Kurt Becker. He'll turn up, gets a little block there from Suey. You see that kick up in the air? That just held the guy long enough, and he was able to pick up a couple more yards.
He needs 7 yards now to tie O.J. Simpson on the all-time list. He's picked up 78 today. Suey goes out. And McMahon calls a timeout. I don't think he had enough men on the field. There are many ways to stay dry, but it's almost impossible on a day like today. I don't know how he keeps his cigar lit. 11:56 left to play, third quarter at Tampa Stadium, with the Bears leading the Bucs 14-0. Most of it's been done on the ground and in the rain. Walter Payton, the lone setback. Suey is flanked and now goes in motion. McMahon sprints to his left behind Payton, and the throwback to Moorhead across the field. Moorhead with room. Emery Moorhead knocked out of bounds finally at the Buck 35 by Beasley Reese. A well-designed, well-executed play, good for 22 yards.
Let's see if we can watch this one. Take a look here in the chalkboard. Now what happens is the quarterback is going to sprint out to the left, The tight end starts here. He's going to end up on this side. The defense flows. McMahon from here throws back over here. And when he gets out here, there's no one here. Now watch this, how it starts here. They start with the motion. And now McMahon is going to go out to the left. Now watch the tight end. If we can freeze it right here. Here's the tight end right here. Here's Emery Moorhead right here. Now watch how he sneaks back all the way across the field. You see, and all he has back here is 3 blockers in front of him. He gets a block there, and he was gone.
And now we're back to the live action with McMahon throwing to Suey, and Suey staying on his feet, knocked out of bounds at the 25, and up for a Bear first down. Jeff Davis finally knocked him out of bounds.
That was a good trick play for the Bears, that one before. Start to the strong side, the side of the tight end. Throw back to the other side with the tight end coming across. Sneak through all those guys. That's a good trick play.
Moorhead did a good job faking the block, getting lost in there, and then coming out open.
And getting all the way and then getting back.
He's been around.
Well, he used to be a running back, and he was a wide receiver also.
Right. Now he's a tight end and starting. And lined up on the left side. McMahon draw play to Payton. Payton skates away from one man and slips down and slides all the way out of bounds. Davis over there.
Ought to be like a judge. You know those diving judges, they give ratings? This may be the best slide we had all day. See, he slides about 3, 5, 7. I'd give him a 9 on that slide.
Well, the head roll might get him some more points right at the end.
Not as a judge. I don't go for those head rolls, man.
Okay. 11 and a half. 11 and a half left to play third quarter. 2nd and 5. Ball at the Buck 21 and the Bears on the move. Trying to get back in the playoff picture. McMahon falls down. And the Bucks make sure he stays down. Abubakar came in to make sure he stayed down.
I think Scott Brantley was there also. He was the inside left linebacker. Watch him. You see, he's coming right up the middle here. And it didn't make any difference because McMahon just tripped and fell down anyway. Abubakar.
Abubakar is, in addition to being a defensive end, a kick fighter.
I wonder if that's helping him today against Jim Covert. Of course, he was the #1 draft choice of the Bears last year, and he's a good tackle.
And gonna get better. Very good run blocker. McMahon goes back. Steps up into the pocket. Throws outside to Walter Payton. Payton inside the Buck 20 to about the 23.
You know, Covert's not a bad pass protector either. He's a great run protector, but watch him here on Abubakar. Watch, he takes him to the outside, and watch at the end, he's going to put him right down on his back, right here. Watch that little extension. That's the way to pass protect.
That is a 10.
Going on 12.
It is 4th down, Bears. 1 to go. They're at the Buccaneer 17-yard line. Now they're starting to get a little dirty.
You gotta love that.
Bears going to go for it. No field goal, no Bob Thomas. They give to Suey. Don't think he made it. McMahon says he did. The Bears, of course, say he did. The Bucks say he didn't. The tackle, the hit, the initial hit was made by Scott Brantley. John McKay changed hats at halftime. Now they say let's measure it. Noah Jackson in there for a close look.
He was trying to get bent over there to get a close look, and darn near tripped and fell down.
Didn't make it. Tampa Bay takes over. $14-0. The Bears lead, nevertheless. Third quarter with 10:04 left to play. Next Sunday, a doubleheader. The NFL Today begins it. San Francisco against the Bears. 12:30 Eastern Time. The NFL Today starts. And then Green Bay, Atlanta, 3:30 Eastern Time. Those of you in Chicago, a reminder, though, that you only see one game. Tampa Bay with the ball. You can see the rain is still coming down, although not as hard as it was earlier. Jerry Goldstein, the quarterback. Adger Armstrong and James Owens, the runner. This is Owens behind Armstrong. Owens struggles for maybe 2-3 yards. Otis Wilson, the Bear tackler. Bell also there.
Looked like on that play it took James Owens a little too long to get to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to have been a Tampa Bay problem all day.
Long afternoon. Tampa Bay's possessions, first half. And the results. And no points. Goldstein back to throw. Outside he goes to Owens. Wilson out there with him. Mike Richardson made the hit. Wilson went over the top of Owens' head. It'll be third down.
You know, one thing, and I don't know how they could ever do it, but you notice because this field is wet and slippery and slick and guys sliding around, that there really hasn't been any injuries today. And I think, you know, that's the secret, because usually on those artificial turf or the real dry fields, when they get planted and get hit, that's when they get it. I think if every game were played like this, you'd have very, very few injuries.
Look at this formation. Now House comes out in motion. Goldstein up the middle, incomplete. Theo Bell, the intended receiver. Dave Durson was the closest defender. Nothing doing for the Bucs. It's 14-0 Bears, and Tampa Bay will have to punt.
See what happened on that play? They had Kevin House in the backfield, and as he was coming in motion, he couldn't get by the defensive end on that play, Dan Hampton. He ran into Hampton, never did get out.
85 is Dennis McKinnon. Garcia back to kick for Tampa Bay. Pretty good kick. McKinnon to his 36-yard line. Now McKinnon has some room and is tripped up at midfield. He has been indeed a pleasant surprise for Mike Ditka. 43-yard punt, 15-yard return. And the Bears will take over in good shape, already leading by the score of 14-0. Come January the 22nd, this stadium will be where they play the Super Bowl. Super Bowl number 18, and we'll be here to bring it to you.
We'll be right there. See that little thing hanging out, that thing jutting out? That's where we are.
There's our new booth that's just been built. We used to be back up there. Now we're down here. McMahon lost the exchange from center. Gets it back. Noah Jackson in a little shoving match. Let's check out some of the other scores now. This one is 14-0, the Bears leading. The Giants are now 13-0 over Philadelphia. Another field goal by Haji Sheik. Green Bay 20, Detroit 10. The Lions just scored on a touchdown pass by Eric Hipple. That one's gone into the third quarter now. Minnesota tied with Pittsburgh 7-7, and St. Louis handing it to San Diego by the score of 37-7 as Neil Lomax has had a big day. McMahon inside handoff to Payton, and they throw a penalty flag before anything gets underway. Andy Frederick got going a little too early. The rest of the scores: Cincinnati 38, Houston 3. Wow. Miami now 24-0 over Baltimore, third quarter. The Raiders 17-3 over Buffalo. Marcus Allen has just scored. And the Raiders are a team to be reckoned with, certainly. Cleveland 20, New England nothing in the third quarter.
Yeah, we were talking about the Super Bowl being down here in January. If right now you had to pick two teams, who would you pick?
I think I'd pick Washington and the Raiders. Second down and 15. McMahon back to throw. A lot of time now. He's chased. McMahon Throws for Payton, knocked out of bounds, and it's incomplete anyway. Mark Cotney came on a blitz and was chasing McMahon.
Let's watch a nose tackle in here again. David Logan, Hilgenberg, they're going head to head. Look, no help yet. There, he gets a little help right there. He says, well, I'll take you on for a while. Okay. Anyone else around here that wants to hit me? I got the center.
Some of the coaches are thinking now that you must really have 2 nose tackles, because not only you take such a physical pounding, it's so mentally frustrating.
You know, and they're playing too, like they play 1-2 series, then another 1 series, just alternating the whole game.
3rd down 15. McMahon out of the shotgun. Handoff is to Payton with blockers in front. And the Buccaneers shut it down. Jeff Davis, who's played well. So is the Buck defense, but they spend so much time out there.
Jeff Davis is the leading tackler. Walter Payton, you know, he's not the type of running back who ever is going to run out of bounds. And when he gets close to that sideline, he only had one alternative, and that was just to turn it up and take it on.
He has just passed O.J. Simpson by 1 yard on the all-time career list. There are only 2 more in front of him.
Now, that's quite a feat. I don't even know if Walter Payton knows it.
Probably not. Good pick by Parsons. Chases John Hope. And the ball will be dead on the Buccaneer 3. Boy, when things go wrong, everything goes wrong. On a dry day, that ball would have bounced all the way through the end zone. 48-yard punt, no return. Parsons kicks it dead. The Bucs start at their own 3-yard line. Walter Payton just passed O.J. Simpson on the all-time career rushing list. And there he is. Today, 18 carries, 86 yards, and the 1 touchdown. His running mate, running back, Matt Suey, right next to him. Buccaneers will start deep in their own territory, and they haven't been able to get anything going on offense. They were shut out last week, and so far they've been shut out this week. Demas, ball in his hand. The 2 Bear runners. Both have had good days.
Look at Matt Suey's shoes there. They look like they're so wet they look two-tone. Look like he has about 3 or 4 colors in there. Those socks look like he's barefoot. You got to get some tape on there.
Yeah.
That's a real fullback. You know, you just whatever the equipment man puts in his locker, you put on.
Questions nothing.
Huh? Go out there. They don't do it. Those fullbacks don't question anything. They just whatever you throw in there, they put on. No fancy tape jobs or anything.
There is the source of the delay. The referee's mic is on the blink. I think we can go ahead and play without a microphone on the referee, don't you?
I would think so.
Matt Suey, by the way, has gained 86 yards today, and so has Payton, both of them. That's an all-time career high for Suey, plus he had his longest run in his career earlier. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the National Football League is prohibited.
You know, because those 2 guys have run so much today, Jeff Davis, who's the inside linebacker of the Buccaneers, he's already made 15 tackles. The team record is 18, and he set that this year. So those guys are going to keep running some more, and I'm sure Jeff Davis is going to also break a record.
I'm sure he is.
But someone has to tackle him.
And now we're ready to go. Jerry Goldstein is the quarterback. Owens to the line of scrimmage. Mike Hartenstein came down and made the stop. Tough day after Goldstein had been on the bench since that last Bear game, and had to come back or try to come back on a day like today because of the arm injury to Jack Thompson. Second down. Goldstein will throw out of the end zone. Has it, batted away. Tyrone Keys got a big hand up and knocked it down. Goldstein was almost tackled for a safety by Steve McMichael.
It's a tough thing to throw here from the end zone because, of course, if you get an interception, anything bad happens, it could be a touchdown. But also, if you have a penalty in the end zone, it's a safety. None of those bad things happen, but something else bad happened. It's just an incomplete pass.
McMichael almost had Goldstein for a safety. So it'll be third down and 10 now. Bucks operating from their own 3-yard line. Goldstein to Owens. Gets to the 6. The Bucks will have to punt. Hartenstein on the tackle again.
And the Buccaneers.
Crowd unhappy.
I'm saying they're booing now, but on the play before that, they had changed and started to root for the Bears because they were yelling, defense, defense, defense. I guess if you pay your money, huh?
I guess. I'm really, frankly, amazed still that as many came and that as many have stayed.
Makes a good story tomorrow. You know, they can go into work and say, yeah, sat all day out in the rain.
Garcia gets his kick out of the end zone. McKinnon fields it at the Buck 40 and cuts upfield. Bears will start from the Tampa Bay 30. Hugh Green was down to make the stop. 34-yard punt out of the end zone by Garcia. The 10-yard return by McKinnon. And the Bears have a chance at it again. 14-0 they lead already.
You know, I'll tell you one thing. Even though the Buccaneers are really having a tough time on offense, here's one guy that's doing well. Kelly Thomas. He's a rookie tackle. Now watch the technique he has here. Just square in there. He just gets right in front of him, gets that hand up, works well. We watched him on films yesterday, and he pass protects like that all the time. That was against Tyrone Keys, and the ball just came there and hit Keys. But that is one bright spot on this Buccaneer team, is that right tackle, rookie Kelly Thomas. He does a heck of a job.
The Bears, McMahon has a first down and gives back to Payton, who loses the ball and now gets it back, and it goes down. Loss of 3. Ed Judy made sure that Payton stayed down. Just to give you an idea of what a frustrating day it's been for Tampa Bay. They've had the ball on offense 7 times. They punted 6 times, and they have 1 interception.
And that equals frustration.
It sure does, and no points. Bears lost 2, they say. So it'll be 2nd and 12 at the Buccaneer 32. We're in the third quarter with 4:45 left to play. Jim McMahon installed for the rest of the year, barring injury, as the starting quarterback for the Bears. There goes Moorhead in motion. And jumping offside, Pat Dunsmore, one of the Bear tight ends.
You know, you wonder on that last play to Payton, you know, he had just passed O.J.'s record. And then you wonder if that loss would take him back underneath it again, and it didn't, because they gave the loss to Jim McMahon on the pitch. I just found that out. That was some computer or something.
Moving before the ball was snapped, number 74 of the
Red
offense.
Cashin.
Still second down.
Minnesota 14, Pittsburgh 7. Steelers had been on a roll. They had the league's longest winning streak. Minnesota just got a touchdown on a pass from Steve Dills to Tony Galbraith. Waiting for a dry ball now. Or another ball, which could be drier. None of them are dry. Second and 17, 37-yard line. Moorhead in motion again. Here's McMahon. Fakes to both of his running backs. Looks upfield. Now he's going to take off. McMahon cut down inside the 30. Ed Judy. 8-yard gain for McMahon.
This was good coverage here on defense because McMahon didn't have anything open. It's going to be a bootleg pass. You see, he fakes to Payton going that way. Bootlegs, comes back this way. Now look, he's looking. no one open. Can't find anyone, so he only has one thing left to do, and that's run with the ball. Whew, do you see that collision?
Yeah.
One guy was Akabaka.
The other was Jeff Davis, so he may not break that record.
If Payton went underneath, they both went over him and collided.
Jeff Davis limping over the sideline. He looks like he might be back. The medical staff checks him out. Another field goal by Ali Haji Sheikh. The Giants lead the Eagles 16-0. Green Bay 20, Detroit 13. Miami 31. Dan Marino having a big day. And Cleveland over New England. Third down. The handoff is to Payton. Payton is close to first down yardage. Mark Cotney, safety man, made the stop. I'm sure the Bears will go for it if they didn't make it.
Well, they went the last time, and they had about 2 yards to go, and they didn't make it. This one is another fourth down situation, but it's a shorter situation.
Mike Ditka trying to stay comfortable.
He took his hat or shield off this second half. He's trying to stay dry with the towel. See if he calls the same play. The last time, they went off tackle with Suey to the left.
Fourth and short.
So they're going to go to the right with Payton this time.
Here comes Payton. Broke the tackle behind the line. He was hit behind the line, broke it, and gets the first down.
You can usually tell on short yardage when there's 2 running backs, the one that is blocking will usually cheat up. On that time, Suey was cheated up on the right, Payton was back, so you could tell that Payton was going to run to the right.
That was backup linebacker Robert Thompson that hit him behind the line of scrimmage. Payton now 20 carries, 98 yards. Bear first down. The Buccaneers 17. Bears have controlled the ball throughout the game. Suey to the 10.
I'll tell you one thing about this Bear offense. They'll send Walter Payton in to do anything. Did you see him that time? It was the same type of thing. He was cheated up. Suey was back, and they led him right in there in the middle. Let's watch it. You see Payton up? Now watch him. He's coming right in there to get that nose tackle. He's helping double team the nose tackle, and Suey runs off to the right of him.
That was Brad White, who is the 4th defensive lineman for the Bucs. They only have 4. It was he that Payton blocked. Handoff to Suey. And he's down close to another Bear first down, about a yard shy. Booker Reese made the stop. There's Matt Suey down there in the mud. Dirt.
Those fullbacks, they loved. You see that? He had his head up, and he just went boom, just put his head right down in there, get close to the dirt. You got to love it. He's having a big day.
His best ever.
You know, he's always the other back. You know, who plays for Chicago? Well, it's Walter Payton and the other guy. Suey's always been the other guy.
Last time the Bears had 2 backs to go over 100 yards was back in 1978. One was Payton, the other was Roland Harper. First down Bears as Moorhead goes in motion. This is Suey. Perhaps a yard. Danny Spradlin was the first man to make contact. He's number 55. Saw him break a wedge earlier. He broke down a Bear play.
He's one of those guys that's always been a great special teams player.
Yeah.
Good cover guy. Punt coverage, kickoff coverage.
He's one of those no-neck guys.
Lifts weights a lot.
Yeah. Payton has 98 yards and Suey has 98 yards. So they both should go over 100, of course.
And whoever gets the ball in this play will probably be the first one.
It's second down at the 6. Bucs take a blitz. Penalty flag is down. Payton is hit behind the line of scrimmage, gets back. But I think Tampa Bay was offside. Well, maybe not.
I'll tell you, it could be the Bears because sometimes you see those blitzing linebackers coming up into the line, and those linemen get a little edgy. Nope, It was a Tampa Bay guy. But sometimes those linemen, they'll get a little edgy and they'll start to move. Once they get in that stance, they can't move at all. I think it was a right guard there. I think that they could have called Andy Frederick, the right tackle there, because he got a little edgy and he moved first, but they didn't catch him. They caught the Bucs.
Number 55 on the defense, still second down.
They caught Danny Spradlin. So that'll make it 2nd and goal inside the 5, about the 2. 3-yard line, call it. Penalties, Chicago 6 times for 44 yards. Tampa Bay 2 for 7 yards. McMahon brings them out. Payton takes it in. Walter Payton barrels into the end zone, and the Bears move out ahead 20-0.
That's another one you can see. Split backs again. Suey was cheated up. Let's see if we can see it here. Suey is cheated up. Payton is back. Suey's going to lead for Payton. Both guards. He gets right in there behind the one guard, just takes off, gets about the 3-yard line, and he just takes off.
Bob Thomas will try to make it 21-0. That was a touchdown by Payton, the last play officially of the 3rd quarter. But of course they do go ahead and kick the extra point, and it's no good. Thomas has it bounce off the left upright. It bounces away. So it's 20-0 in favor of the Chicago Bears. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Bears 20. The Buccaneers nothing. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Miller High Life. Welcome to Miller Time. And by the over 1,200 Midas Muffler and Brake Shops.
Pat Summerall and John Madden at Tampa Stadium. Bears 20, Bucs nothing. Bob Thomas to kick off. Lines it to Michael Morton and lines it out of bounds. He'll have to do it again. Walter Payton, 21 carries, 101 yards. The 53rd time he's had 100 or more yards in a game. 6 times against Tampa Bay. There's the whole story right there. Payton has 101. Suey will have over 100 before it's over, and Tampa Bay has a total of 71. Good day for the Navy. This time, Bob Thomas will have to go from the 30-yard line, and the Bucs can move up a little bit. They have deep Michael Morton and Johnny Ray Smith. And Bob Thomas back to kick off. 20-0 as we begin quarter number 4. What has been a very disagreeable afternoon. Unless you're watching and enjoying the Chicago Bears. Goes out of bounds again. And Thomas will have to kick from the 25 this time.
Let's watch Walter Payton's touchdown there while we're doing. Now watch here. You can see a little cheat. See, here's Matt Suey here. See, now he's cheated up a little. Here's Walter Payton. He's back here. They start off with a good double team right here. That guy right there, Jay Salty, comes in. They knock Hugh Green back. A good pull by the off guard, Kurt Becker right here, and he leads Payton into the end zone. Now watch, you see how he's cheated up there? So you know they're going to the left from this view. See, we can tell it up here. Now watch, it's going to go off here to the left. Now watch the block up there at the end. Right there, boom. They just take Hugh Green, put him right back into the end zone. Here comes Kurt Becker. He gets a block right there. By that time, Payton had already dived, and he was in the end zone anyway.
Now Bob Thomas will have to go at it from the 25-yard line. The 3rd kickoff. 36,816 showed up today, so that means almost 28,000 no-shows. Understandable.
This is really one of Tampa Bay's best moves today.
You mean Thomas kicking the ball?
Yeah, he keeps going back and back and back. Tampa Bay keeps getting closer and closer to the goal line.
Yeah, they ought to take over when they get the ball. If he keeps it in bounds this time. In pretty good shape. This one straight down the middle. It's going to be Morton. He's to the 30. To the 36. Kelvin Atkins down to make the hit that brought him down, number 51. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, Alice, One Day at a Time, the Jeffersons, Goodnight Beantown, and Trapper John M.D. Meantime, you'll be on the bus headed for Dallas, right?
That's right. They have a bus here, pull up, load us up, and take us to Dallas for Thanksgiving Day and the Cowboys and the St. Louis Cardinals.
I'll meet you there.
Probably with a turkey in your hands.
I'll have it waiting and warm.
They have bologna sandwiches on the bus.
Goldstein goes down under the rush of Hampton and Hartenstein. And Hampton and Mike Hartenstein met at the quarterback. Second sack on Goldstein.
Oh, he had a little move. You see that there? He gave that little shot there. Hey, first one. Tell the guy, hey, I like it. It's nice to be back, guys.
Bears cheerleaders, the Honey Bears, made the trip down to the Bay Area. Boy, the weather's been great all week long. We've been here since Wednesday. But today it went sour.
Well, they had one of those tornado warnings or something. At least that thing didn't come, I don't think.
No. Pass incomplete. Intended for Kevin House. Michael Richardson tipped it. He's played well today. 3 out of 12.
Well, you know, the Bear defense has played well. They've played tough against the run. They've had good pass coverage. They've got a pretty good pass rush, and Tampa Bay just hasn't been able to get anything going.
Their deepest penetration today was to the Bears' 11-yard line, and that was on the last play of the first half. Melvin Carter is the lone setback. On third down, Goldstein drops him now. Penalty flags go down. False start against the Bucks, and everything goes wrong. Goldstein tosses the ball back. That is a very dejected Tampa Bay bench.
Well, you know, you hate to say it.
Number 77 on the offense. Still third down.
But probably their problems started in the offseason when they lost their quarterback, Doug Williams, who signed with the USFL. Of course, with the Bears, Vince Evans just signed with Chicago Blitz last week.
A very lucrative contract. On third down, Goldstein goes back. Hit by Hampton just as he let it go. Pass almost picked off. Intended for Kevin House, and Mike Richardson was right there, back there with him again.
Of course, this is the big thing. You know, this is what caused that bad pass. Watch Dan Hampton. He's working out there against Revis, pushes him right back there. He has Revis by the left arm, Goldstein by the right arm, and it's tough to throw that way, man, when you got guys draping on your back, and this is what happens. Darn near get interceptions. You're lucky it wasn't intercepted.
That was two Razorbacks against each other, Hampton and Revis. Both went to Arkansas.
And Suey plays fullback.
And he should have gone to Arkansas. Good kick by Garcia. It's out of bounds. So it's 20-0 in favor of the Bears with 13:47 left to play at Tampa Stadium. On a day it's been raining and raining hard. As we said before, there are a lot of ways to try to stay dry. It's impossible on a day like today, but look at this. That is a plastic chair. Got one on his knees and one on his head with the legs cut off. May stay dry, but it's bad for the neck. John McKay, the head coach of the Bucks, since their inception, has been under a lot of fire. Moorhead started in motion. The pitch is back to Payton. Payton cuts back inside up near midfield. Brad White was the Buccaneer to bring him down, number 90.
I would think it's probably about time to take Walter Payton out of this game. We're in the fourth quarter now. The Bears have a 20-0 lead. The Buccaneers aren't doing anything offensively. Walter came in here with some injuries. He's gotten through this game. It would just seem like to me a good time to say, hey, good job. You went over 1,000 yards today, Walter. You broke O.J. Simpson's record. That's a good day's work. Why don't you put a park on?
Payton was the lone setback. This is Suey. And that'll put Suey over 100 yards and give the Bears another first down. Again, it's Brad White who made the first hit. 17 for 105 for Suey. Andy Frederick getting up a little slowly. Keith Van Horn, who regularly would start there, was hurt also. Bears put in John Giannotta in Frederick's place. And Mike Ditka thinks he's going to be a player.
You know, I was talking to Dick Stanfeld last night. He's the offensive line coach of the Bears, and he was really raving about Jim Covert. He said, he's really a good run right now. He said, but he's going to be a great one.
Willie Gault is split up at the top of your picture, now out of it. McMahon gives to Suey. Suey slides down to about the Buccaneer 42 before he's brought down. Let's check out the blocking and see why that play was a success.
Well, we'll see Walter Payton. Watch him lead here. He's going to lead on number 33, Mark Cotney. Watch, there's Cotney right there. He just gets down, boom, shoulder to shoulder. That was Jeremiah Castile, I think, the corner. Was covered in shoulder to shoulder, head to head. Boom, Suey broke right off it.
Here comes Payton back in. He's got a bad knee. He surely hadn't shown today.
He looked a lot better in the game than he did in the pregame warm-up. We were watching him then. He was a little running on it gingerly, and then once the game started, he let her go.
Now he's going to let her go again. He's starting to throw a pass and does throw a pass. And it's picked off by Beasley Reese. So Payton will go back and stick to running. The first bright spot really of the day for the Buccaneers. Ed Judy caused it.
Well, the Bears were doing so well, running so well with the ball control. You wonder if they need this, but here Walter Payton, he's been very successful passing the ball, but Ed Judy was right there. He didn't have a shot, and Beasley Reese was right there, so it's Tampa Bay's ball.
So the Buccaneers will take over now. Back on offense and see if they can't get something going, trailing 20-0. Kansas against Houston. That's basketball we're talking about now. NCAA basketball. Larry Brown's debut as the head coach of the Jayhawks. And Houston, always a power, of course. And there is John Madden's transportation to Dallas for the Thanksgiving Day meeting. Have a good trip, John. It's a nice bus.
Yeah, that is. They'll be loading up.
Lunch is ready. Catered already. It'll be a great trip.
That much would just get us out of town.
Depends on who goes with you. The Cardinals against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. As you know, John Madden won't fly, and that's why the bus. He's been talking to a lot of people about making that trip with him, too. Here is Jeff Comlow. Pass is intercepted. That's his first for the Bucs. Mike Richardson came up with the interception, his second of the day. And the Bears get it right back.
Bears probably knew when they had Walter Payton throw it that they were going to get it right back anyway. Jeff Comlow's come in. It's his first pass. He throws it. He was hit again. I think that was Dan Hampton that did the same thing to him, and this one caused the interception.
So the Bears get the ball right back with 11 minutes and 24 seconds left to play. They lead 20-0.
Let's watch and see what caused that interception. Again, it was Dan Hampton. You see, he's right here. He starts up. He makes an inside move. and he's on Goldstein just as he throws the ball. Bad circle here, but watch Hampton. He's right behind that post, starts upfield. Now watch, underneath. See him underneath here? Now watch, Comlow's throwing, and just as Comlow's throwing, Hampton was on him, and Hampton should get the credit for this interception by Richardson, or part of it, quarter of it. Piece of the pie, slice of the cake.
A bonus.
Bonus.
Dennis Gentry and Calvin Thomas are now the two Bear runners. This is Gentry. Mike Ditka likes him too. He can scoot. Danny Spradlin on the tackle. Let's run down the scoreboard for you again. The Giants shutting out Philadelphia in the fourth quarter, 23-0. Green Bay 20, Detroit 13, fourth quarter. A very big game for the NFC Central. Benny Ricardo has kicked a field goal to put Minnesota ahead. 17-7. Look at St. Louis. Otis Anderson just rambled in for a touchdown against San Diego. 44-7. They got a lot of weapons. Cincinnati 38, Houston 3. Cincinnati has a lot of weapons.
Dallas had better be ready around Thanksgiving, hasn't it?
Sure had. They got a tough one today. This is Calvin Thomas. Danny Spradlin on the tackle. Miami blowing Baltimore away, 37-0. Raiders 24-3. Pass from Plunkett to Christensen. Got their last touchdown. And Cleveland 30, New England nothing. Fourth quarter now.
I was talking about St. Louis. You know, you kind of forget about the Cardinals, but in their last 6 games, they've been 4-1-1. They're having a big day today.
Right. 3rd and 3. They can score a lot of points. Lomax throwing the ball well. Here's McMahon behind Jackson. Sliding down and sliding out of bounds. Ed Judy chased him. Clock will stop then with, no, they don't stop it. 9:40 to let it run.
There's old Jay Hilgenberg. He's been playing center all day, and of course he's also the center or the snapper on the punt team, and that's an important position. I mean, you know, sometimes guys make teams just because they can do this.
A lost art. Bob Parsons, the Bear punter. Doesn't quite get it all. It's Theo Bell. Bell to the 40. Let's see who the quarterback is. 37-yard punt by Parsons. We'll have to wait a minute. It'll be Comlow again. His one pass intercepted. The Bucs are down 20-0. Chicago 20, Tampa Bay nothing. I wonder if there have ever been back-to-back 20-0 shutouts in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, probably not, because that would really be, of course it's 20-0 because of an extra point miss.
Right.
Although it could be 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals, but.
Comlow back to throw. Has time. Misses the intended receiver, Jerry Bell, the tight end.
Sometimes you get the feeling that the Buccaneers offense, they don't have much confidence. You know, they don't feel when they throw the ball that anyone's going to catch it, or when they run that anyone's going to make anything.
You know, yesterday when we talked to Mike Ditka, I asked him if he had comparable talent in Chicago from that he had when he was the assistant in Dallas. And that was the point he made. He didn't even talk about the talent. He said, I'll tell you what the difference is. It's confidence. Believe we can win. Melvin Carver couldn't quite handle the toss from Comlow, and the Bucs lose yardage.
It's been that kind of day. I mean, even a pitch, no one even touches Carver, and they still lose yardage trying to pick up the ball.
It's been that kind of a year. So it'll be 3rd down and a lot to go. 16. Ball back at the 34. But you know, that's so true. If you get used to winning, you always think you're going to win. And that's a big factor.
And that's why the Cowboys have had so much success coming from behind. I mean, they had like 8 or 9 games where they've been behind. They know they're going to win. The other team starts to believe that they're going to win, too.
Just wonder how they're going to do it. Hamill has a lot of time. Dan Hampton from behind takes him to the muddy turf.
He's having a pretty good day for his first day bat, Dan Hampton is. Let's watch him here all the way. In fact, the last 3 passes that the Buccaneers have thrown, Hampton's been there. Watch, he's going Revis, gets him off. There says, I got him. You see how they always go for that ball? They grab with one hand and always stick that other, because sometimes they can come up with interceptions.
Garcia back to kick. Good kick. Dennis McKinnon retreats all the way back to his own 15. Circles back out to about the 26 before he's knocked off his feet. Adger Armstrong. 52-yard punt. 12-yard return, a 40 net. That's pretty good. More than acceptable. Thursday at Texas Stadium, the Cardinals, who have become formidable against the Dallas Cowboys, who are always formidable. That ought to be a good contest. You ought to be through with the turkey and everything by then. San Francisco, Chicago. This is Sunday. Green Bay, Atlanta. And again, a reminder that those of you in Chicago will only see 1 game. That's an NFL contractual commitment. The Bears at home, you can only see 1 game. Dennis Gentry over the left side. 7.5 minutes left to play. Booker Reese on the stop. Still raining.
I'll tell you, on Thanksgiving Day, who'll be the most interested people watching? That's those Washington Redskins people, players, coaches, fans, owners. They seem to always keep one eye on what they're doing, and they keep another eye on Dallas because they know ultimately and eventually it'll get down to the 2 of them.
And they'll meet on December the 11th in Dallas. Minnesota 17-14 over Pittsburgh now as Cliff Stout has just scored. They have just over 6 minutes remaining in that game. Calvin Thomas barreling for good yardage. David Logan made the stop. Last week we were at Giant Stadium and I went downstairs before I left, and all the Redskin coaches were gathered around our television sets downstairs because we were carrying the Charger Dallas game. And they stood there a long time, well, till the game was over, before they even went to their own dressing room.
That was a big win for them because they needed that.
Chicago has rushed for 261 yards against the Buccaneer defense that it's hard to run against. Maybe Mike Ditka was right. Gentry again. That's a record for rushing against a Tampa Bay defense. Richard Wood on the stop. The old mark was against New England, set way back in 1976, and that's how they put it together. That's most of it. Both backs over 100 yards. Suey with 111. Payton with 106. As I mentioned before, the only other time that's done, the last time that's been done, was by Roland Harper and Payton.
You see Mike Ditka there, he's saying that's the way I like to do it too. You get there in that rain, the dirt, the mud, and you just run it down their throats all day.
That's a pretty good idea on a day like today. That's a pretty good idea any day. Here's Gentry. Breaks 1 tackle, hit by Danny Spradlin. Gets out to about the 49. Clock running with just over 5 minutes now left to play.
In all due respect to the Bears and the job that they've done, a lot of it has to do with Tampa Bay's defense is on the field so long that their offense just didn't get anything going, and they go over there and then they're right back in, and when you get enough shots at them, you can't tend to wear down a defense.
And of course they have both of their starting defensive ends not playing. They have one of their better linebackers not playing. 2 or 3 secondary men who are out with injuries. They've had a tough year. That's Suey back in again. I bet he thought he was through for the day.
He did, but he's probably the kind of guy that was in there and said, hey, Coach, I feel good today. Let me get a couple more shots in there before it's over, huh?
He's the kind of guy that will carry the water bucket in after the game.
He probably ran out there on his own. The coach didn't know it. Look, jerseys off, half a scoot, helmet dirty. Pants, get some pads.
I guarantee his socks are drooping down in his shoes.
Socks down. With some water in there, mud in there, and those too.
Bob Parsons back in punt formation. Theo Bell back for the Bucs. Parsons. Bell for the fair catch. Now lets it bounce. And it just does roll into the end zone. 50-yard punt. No return, but they'll bring it back to the 20, so the net is 30. You can see it is still raining. We've been reasonably dry most of the day. So some early wind-blown moisture came in.
It's not bad. I've really been impressed with the job that Chicago Bear offensive line has done today. And the fullback, Matt Sewell. We know Payton is going to do that. We expect that. But sometimes it takes those kind of guys on these kind of days to win these kind of games.
You have to be impressed, too. You were talking about before, but the great ones do it all. And Payton not only has done a good job carrying the ball, he's done a good job blocking today.
I know it, and he's not only blocked the outside guys, he's been in there blocking linebackers and nose tackles and all those types of people.
Comlo up the middle, has a pass complete. Let's see to whom. Theo Bell. There are the Honey Bears. They don't know it's raining.
Probably know when they try and comb their hair.
Yeah. Second down and 3. The ball at the 27. Chicago Bear fans who made the trip. They're saying, hey, I came from Chicago. I don't care if it rains. House in motion. Combo back to throw. Trying to throw. Can't. Bears pick it up. And rambling into the end zone is Mike Hartenstein. Steve McMichael knocked it loose from Comlo, and Hartenstein got it and took it in.
Those guys don't get many of those things. You see, Hampton came up and gave him a little headbutt. That's the way they shake hands, those linemen. But Steve McMichael looks like he's the first guy. He's going to come from the inside right here. Now, he comes right from the left, right there. See, he gets it. He had him with his right, knocked it out with his left. Hartenstein was going to jump on it the way they're taught to. And he said, hey, there's no guys here. Let me run it in the end zone.
Pretty good runner.
Not bad. Guy hanging on him.
Broke a tackle.
Broke a tackle, made a move.
So it's now 27-0 as Bob Thomas bangs it through. So the Bears will pick up their 5th victory of the year and stay in the picture for the playoff picture, hopefully. Here's the first final of the day. Miami rolls over Baltimore 37-0. Dan Marino had a big day. Here is what the Central Division looks like right now. Green Bay 6-5, Minnesota 6-5, and leading Pittsburgh at the moment 17-14. Green Bay 20-13 up over Detroit. We'll keep you posted. Detroit 5-6, and now with this victory pretty much in the bag for the Bears. They're 5-7, and poor Tampa Bay. Their next game is against Houston.
Someone has to win, don't they?
I guess. Thomas will kick off. Morton and Johnny Ray Smith, I believe, back deep for Tampa Bay. Here, send a lot of people over to the left now. Now one of them goes back, Gentry. Can't figure out what he's doing. Thomas lines it to Morton at the 2. Morton out of the pack. Out to the 37-yard line. Dave Durison. Dennis Gentry on the stop. A return of 37 yards.
You see that mud on the back of their pants there? See how high it goes up? You can always tell the fast guys because when they kick, they kick mud way up to their waist, and the slow guys always kick it up just about to their socks. I know when we used to practice, Cliff Branch would always have it. Sometimes he'd have it up on his shoulder pads, and Art Shell, it would be about halfway up his socks.
First down, Jeff Comlow, the quarterback. This is caught for Buck first down by Theo Bell. First down of this half for Tampa Bay. 6 for the game.
Here's Theo Bell here. Here's the outside guy. Makes a little push there. Works back on a hook move. And then gets tackled there for a first down.
Leslie Frazier was the defender. Back. Going to take off. And gets another Tampa Bay first down at about the 34-yard line of Chicago. Bears, of course, hoping for a shutout. They'll get the 2-minute warning. Bears up 27-0. Some of that is to stay dry. Some of it is just unhappiness with the way things have gone for the Buccaneers and John McKay this year.
I'll tell you, I've known John McKay for a long time, and he's a heck of a guy. He's a great coach. He helped me a lot in my early going, and I'll never forget it. I'll always be grateful to John McKay.
Well, I know he can't figure out what's going wrong. Injuries you can point to. Darryl Carter skates out of bounds on the far side of the field, inside the 20, to about the 17 before Terry Schmidt knocks him out of bounds.
Let's watch Carter here. He starts. He's the inside guy right there in the middle of the screen. He just gets a step, and it's a good running pattern. You try and run those types of patterns against man-to-man defense. Try and run hooks and stopping patterns against zones and running patterns against man-to-man.
First down, Bucks at the Bear 18. House in motion. House the catcher. House slides out of bounds, but they say he didn't get out of bounds. He just slid out there, so they keep the clock running. Buccaneers have a player hurt. It is Kelly Thomas, who's done so well as the rookie tackle, and that looks like his left knee.
I'll tell you, we were talking about Kelly Thomas earlier, 4th-round draft choice, rookie out of SC. And when we were watching films yesterday, he was one of the most impressive offensive linemen that we'd seen in some time.
The good footwork, everything. Big, strong guy.
He kind of got lost down there at SC. They had so many. They had 2 other offensive linemen drafted in the 1st round. So many prospects there that sometimes the scouts don't get to all of them.
I think he felt that he was just as good and should have been taken higher than he was.
And probably, as they look back, he's probably right.
Cleveland 30, New England nothing. That's the final score. And that's 2020. Detroit, Green Bay with about 6 minutes left to play. There goes House in motion. Comlow under pressure, and down he goes. McMichael right up the middle.
Oh, Jeff Comlow wants to get that touchdown. They're down 27-0, a minute 30 seconds to go. And the minute he's sacked here by Steve McMichael, he takes a timeout. Watch this. McMichael again is going to come from the inside. Comlow's going back. See, here's McMichael. He just split the guard and the tackle, and he was right in Comlow's face. He couldn't see anything downfield. That was a good move by McMichael. He just went right between the 2 of them.
To the Bears. A minute 32 left to play. 27-0 Chicago.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it has to be a tough time for John McKay in going through this. You know, he's known a lot of victories. Heck, last year this Tampa Bay team was in the playoffs. And you tend to forget that. He's brought this team a long way and developed a good team here. And as I said, I'll never forget when I was starting coach, I was at a little junior college. John McKay was the coach of the year at SC, national champion. And he spent 2 hours privately with me and teaching me the I formation.
Conlow gets out of the pocket this time and throws behind the intended receiver, Theo Bell. Clock stops with 1:26 left to play. Don't forget, after this is over, the NFL Today with Brent and Irv and the Greek with scores and highlights. The wrap-up show. 2020, as we reminded you just a minute ago, between Detroit and Green Bay. 17-14, Minnesota over Pittsburgh. Still not finals. Here's Conlow on 4th down. Right through the hands of Obradovich. Hard pass to catch on a day like today. So it looks like they won't make it to the end zone. Bears leading 27-0.
Also looks like the Bears have a shutout. You know, I don't know in that Central Division if this is too much too late for the Bears. They're 2 games down, but doggone it, they look pretty good. They really do. They've been playing well in all areas, and maybe they still do have a shot.
Well, they have two games left with Green Bay. They have the one with San Francisco next week, and the other one I think is against Detroit. So they got a chance to pick up some ground. Of course, Minnesota beating Pittsburgh today wouldn't help the cause at all. First down, Bears. That is Bob Avellini at quarterback. Anthony Hutchinson. Just to make sure, 1 game with Minnesota, not with Detroit. 2 with Green Bay and 1 with San Francisco. And, of course, next Sunday. Second down. Clock running now with 40 seconds left to play. Avellini, the quarterback. Anthony Hutchinson again. Danny Spradlin on the tackle. That should be the last one. Steve McMichael had a good day. So did Walter Payton. Last time Tampa Bay was shut out back-to-back was back in 1977. This is the 4th time the Bears have shut them out. Mike Ditka should have a rather pleasant journey back to Chicago. It won't be pleasant for John McKay. Executive producer of the NFL on CBS is Terry O'Neill. Senior producer, Charles Milton III. They both were down here earlier this week looking at things for the Super Bowl. Today's game produced by Michael Burtz. Directed by the sailor, Sandy Grossman. John Vetrano, the associate producer. And we head from here to Dallas for the Thanksgiving Day match between the hot St. Louis Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. Thank you to all the rest of you who've been so helpful. Tough day to broadcast a game. A monsoon when it began, and a very difficult set of working conditions, but not for the Chicago Bears, who won it 27-0. Coming up next, the NFL Today, the wrap-up show. All the scores from around the league. A lot of football left. So in the rain, At Tampa Stadium in Tampa Bay, the Chicago Bears put together a shutout and keep their slim playoff hopes alive. They beat Tampa's 27-0.